Live from Latrobe Motorsports Studios, this is Ride Along with Howie, from the fast half-mile track at Latrobe Speedway, where it's grassroots racing at its finest. Here's Howie.
1. Race fans, who's ready for another edition of Ride Along with Howie, sponsored by SMB Promotion, Joe's Body Shop and Towing, and our first guest tonight will be none other than Jacob Weyer, pilot of the Jacob Weyer Construction DC Motorsports car number 87. Jacob, welcome to Ride Along.
How you doing, Howie?
I'm doing well. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, pretty well. Trying to get the car all finished up, get D20 ready to go for Saturday. Get mine up ready for display.
Appreciate you taking time. I know this is upcoming Saturday. Your division, the ProStocks, are off. But I want to talk to you about a couple things. One, the past couple of weeks, I got to tell you, I've seen just about every time you've raced a car and such noticeable improvement coming from your car. And it's kind of funny, me and your teammate, Steven, were talking. No spin outs, no nothing. And he said, you know what, Howie? We've been working a lot with Jacob, and basically you hurt your big motor a couple weeks ago, and you're back with a smaller motor. And that combination just seems to really suit your driving style.
It definitely does. We got some of the torque and the horsepower out of the car. I had to really work on my steering. I was oversteering and over throttling almost every turn. That's why I kept spinning out, losing traction, causing the car to push. We got that horsepower and torque, put the little 358 back in, and it seems to be doing real well. A couple weeks, we're going to get the big motor back in there, and just let's hope we can do the same thing as the little motor can do.
And like you said, your big motor is over 400 cubic inches. This one's 358, pretty comparable to the ProStocks, but it just seems like I said, the bigger tires. Now you're used to those. This is your second year in the ProStock, but like I said, I mean, it almost looks like you're a new driver. And not saying you were a bad driver before, but you were going through those learning curves, and now it looks like that knowledge you have definitely paying off, man.
Yeah, it's definitely paying off. I didn't think I'd be already third in points this year already. I couldn't believe it when we finally found out what the points were and I was climbing up. But I just think it's a fact that we got some of the horsepower out. I can concentrate on how much throttle I'm running, and I can concentrate on what my steering is. Another thing that helped us out a lot was we put a camera up in the car so we could watch what I was doing, how far I was steering, what the RPMs were, and that really, really helped.
Everybody thinks racing's one night a week sport, but you just said yourself, you go back and you review the videos and you study to see any mistakes you made, and you try to learn from them. And Jacob, I think it was last year that you guys had as many as 5 cars coming out. You had the little car,
the Mini Cooper.
Mini Cooper, thank you.
Yeah, that was the year before. We had the Mini Cooper, we had an Acura Integra, and the ProStocks.
And
that was the last
too.
year. Yeah, and Rittenhour. That was the last year that I ran ProStocks. After that, we had the frame mishap, and they made me bump up to ProStock, and we just never looked back.
And how do you enjoy the ProStocks?
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's cleaner racing. You got guys that I can't really say care because everybody cares, but you got guys that will stop their car and lose a position just so that they don't smash it up. In the ProStocks, we were running into a lot of guys that they didn't care if they rubbed you in the turns or caused you to spin out just so that they could get that spot. In the ProStocks, you don't have that, especially with the other guys coming out of Bedford and I forget what other track, Thunder Valley or whatever it was this past weekend. Them guys come down. they even raced us clean. I figured, because you look at their cars, they looked a little beat up. I figured, these guys are going to be pretty rough. They weren't, not at all.
And you taking on the task, you did it last year a couple of times up at Lernerville, but this year you're running basically Lernerville on Fridays, coming to us on Saturdays. And what's your Saturday morning and afternoon like? What changes do you have to make to the Freight Pro number 87 to get it ready for Latrobe versus Lernerville?
The only thing I do is I run the same tire setups. The only thing I change is gears. From Friday to Saturdays, it's the only thing changes on the car is gears. I don't tighten the car. I don't loosen the car. I don't adjust the brakes. I go over it, make sure everything's still tight. The shocks are still good, and change gears. That's it. That's all I do.
And this year you acquired a different car. Tell us about the car you're driving now.
The car I have now is from Steve Diapolita. He runs the Penn Ohio series, and it's a 2017 S&S chassis that Chris Snyder had built. It was Rusty Martin's, I believe. Originally, Steve bought it off of him, took it to Chris. Chris updated it in 2017, and it is what it is. He raced that car 3 times, I think he said, or 4 times. And when I bought it, the only thing I had to do to the body was put one panel on the passenger side. Other than that, the car was 100% perfect.
And that has to give you confidence when you get into a car that's proven. And then you got Chris Snyder a phone call away, and Chris is very good with working with his drivers to help you and move along in that learning curve.
Oh yeah, I can't thank Chris enough. He does everything. Anything I ask him, he's always there for me. And his shop's only about 25 minutes from me here in Apollo, so it's not like it's that far out of hand just to run down there. He helped me do the setup on the car this year. We had a big problem with it pushing. We took it down there. We did our own setup on it, took it out to Lernerville. It was still pushing. Chris did some stuff out there, 100% helped the car. And then that following week, we took it to him, had him do the whole setup on the car for us. He gave us a phenomenal deal on it. He's a great all-around guy.
Now, how did you get involved in racing?
Well, it was one night, Steven and his dad and my mom and dad, they were all out at Jennerstown. And they were talking about getting in racing. My mom said, all right. She said, I'll start a race team. I'll fund it. You guys got 5 years to prove yourselves. And so far, in the 5 years, this will be the 5th season we've been racing. I think we've gotten pretty far along. Every year, me and Steven have both been blessed to be able to place up in the top 10. Last year, I placed second. First year as a ProStock. I love it.
And you two are both your first year track co-rookie of the years. You there?
Yeah, we got co-rookie of the year on our first year. Yeah, I'm here. I got co-rookie of the year. Me and him both got co-rookie of the year on our first year. And then we got, I think, 5th and 6th or 6th and 7th in points. And then the second year, I forget what we got. I want to say 3rd and 4th.
Yeah,
or 4th and 5th. Yeah, and then the 4th year or the 3rd year we were racing was the first year I was in ProStocks, which was last year. Yeah, this will be 4 years this year. And I couldn't believe what we did last year with a car that was built pretty much for a pure stock. The motor that is in the car currently right now is a pure stock motor. That was built for a pure stock, and they made us bump up. I don't know how it did so well last year, and I don't understand how it does so well against them big 400s this year.
You know, they always say sometimes you got to make your driver go slow to get them fast. And I think you mentioned something earlier. By detuning the car, you guys were able to get a grasp on that handling of the car. And now you understand what a car should feel like. And then when you give you the more horsepower, you kind of know what to do, how a car should handle. So give you the 50 more cubic inches or whatever it's going to be, they'll be able to adjust it and keep you fast, hopefully.
Yeah, one of the biggest we struggled every year with me in making turns. In the turn we struggle. I think it's mainly because when I was 15 I almost got killed on a turn, and I don't like going around turns real fast. So I got to get myself adjusted to the car, the way the car hits the turn, rolls into the turn. It's a learning curve that I wish everybody could experience, because it's crazy. It's insane. I love racing. I don't think I'll ever quit. I might take a year off in the future, but I don't know about actually quitting.
And one thing, you guys do it all as a big family. You and Steven are cousins. I believe it's another cousin driving the D20 this year, and all the kids and everybody. It's just a big party, almost big family reunion.
Yeah, everybody that is on the team, we're related one way or another. The guy that's running the D20, Alex Starcher, he's a family friend, but they might as well be just blood family. And the guy that was running the car, Brett Orris, we'd like to bring him back, but we don't know what his deal is going to be, because he got a kid on the way in September. So, and he just got a new house. He's getting a lot of his life in hand. So hopefully we'll see him back on the team, but I don't know what's going on yet.
What about Steven's brother? Is he going to be coming back with the Mini Cooper?
I don't know. The Mini's out. The Mini, Steven's uncle Bill owned that car, and he junked it after, I think, last year. It didn't run. We didn't run it last year at all. So he just got rid of it. And I don't think he's going to do much more of dirt track. He hasn't been around a whole lot. He's having some problems with health-wise. But I don't know. Brendan might build something. Brendan might build something one day of his own.
And coming up this week, it's $10 night, and also MS Awareness Night at the track. And we want to thank you guys for you're going to bring your car, put it on display, and we have some raffles going on. And anything else you'd like to share about this upcoming week?
We're going to have my car on display right inside the main gate, the grandstand gate. We're going to be having our tumbler cups, our team tumbler cups. They're going to be for sale. There's going to be a few shirts, I believe. I don't know how much merch that we have, but I know we're going to be taking orders for shirts and hoodies, sweatpants. We're going to be there for Down syndrome awareness thing for Lillian's Angel, which is Lillian's Angel's. Lillian, the little girl Lillian, is Steven's niece, if nobody knew that. So we're gonna the whole family, the whole shebang should be there on Saturday. I believe everybody's gonna be there for the Down syndrome awareness. But yeah, we're gonna be up there. I'm gonna try and get some more pictures and get them autographed. That way we can give some pictures away up there when the car's sitting there. I don't know if I'll be up there a whole lot, because I'll be down in the pits. I got D20 and Steven running that night, so I don't know when I'll be around much.
Well, and on, you know what? I want to thank you also. Your kids, anytime, if I ever need a hand, they're the first two to always volunteer, and I really appreciate that. You know what I mean? They'll jump in and do just about anything we ever ask them, and a great family. And just to think, this all started one night when you guys were at another track watching some racing, and we're very lucky that your family decided to come dirt track and chose Latrobe to be your home track.
Yeah, I always wanted to race Latrobe. I remember going there as a little kid. I'd like to run Challenger too, but I don't think it'll ever open back up. That town's where Eddie and Steven are from. They live 5 seconds from Challenger Raceway. But just like Lernerville is right up here in Sarver, not far from me. I think it's something like 40 minutes from me. And we used to go up there. I used to go up there all the time as a little kid, watching them races. Always dreamed of being able to race up there. And it's finally at the age of, I'll be 32 in September, and at the age of 32, it's finally happening. I finally got to run my dream track and complete one of my dreams. Now I just need to get that big W.
I'm telling you, it's going to come very soon, I think.
It's coming.
And like I said, I just want to point out the improvement in driving that you put in and that you've made is Stevie Wonder could see it, man, and he's legally blind. I mean, the car is definitely, the car and the team are definitely performing a lot better now.
I'm glad to hear. I'm glad it's making the people are realizing that we're out there and we're doing it and we're improving and we're making a good name for our team. That's what we wanted. That's one of the reasons why I decided I'm running Lernerville. I want to get our name out there, get some publicity, get some people to know who the team is.
Well, why don't we go ahead and talk about the team? Who all is part of the DC Motorsports team?
My mom, Lori, she owns it. My dad, Ray, they own the team. Eddie's the crew chief, Steven's dad. He's the one that drives the big rig. He's the crew chief. And then you got me, Steven, and Alex as drivers. And then there's Ethan, a friend of Alex's, Ethan. He pits for us. My brother-in-law, Jesse, he pits for us every once in a while. Danny comes down and pits for us, which is Lillian's dad, Steven's brother. It just pretty much depends on their work schedule, who all comes out. But that's pretty much the majority of who's down in the pits when you see us down there.
And let's talk about that list of impressive sponsors you guys have. Who are some of the marketing partners of the team?
Well, we got a couple change ups that we're not coming back. You Pull and Pay, as everybody knows, we got rid of You Pull and Pay. Well, corporate decided they were going to do all that, quit advertising and everything. But we still have Avalanche Land Services, which is it's a company that leases land for hunting purposes, which I deal with. It's phenomenal. Never have no problems. I have 120 acres. When I want to go hunt, I can go hunt it. They post it, whole 9 yards. I'll put food plots in. You look them up. If you're into hunting, Avalanche Land's where you want to go to get your leases. All through Indiana County, Armstrong, Westmoreland. Very good guy. The guy that owns it is Joe Kuzneski. Okay. And very great guy. Then we have Nick's Bullseye Firearms out in Homer City. Another fabulous. He used to be my neighbor when I lived out there in Homer City. Another fabulous guy. Very good prices on guns and safes. He has his new shop. He has an archery shop in his new shop. Then we have Vincini Distributing. They're beer distributing company down in Millville. They have a pump wagon and stuff that we use when we have big parties and stuff for 4th of July and that.
Okay.
And then we have, let me look at the car.
DC Transit.
Yeah, DC Transfer. That's my mom's company. She's a dispatcher for Great Wide and Universal Trucking. You got Hazlet Trucking. That's Steven's mom and dad's trucking company that they have. S&K Hauling. That's a kid I went to school with, a friend of ours. He does hot shots. Then P&J Contracting. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yeah.
P&J Contracting's my company. Freight Pros is my mom's boss. He's up in New York. Same thing, dispatching. FTI, Freeport Transport, up on 356 by Sarver. They're a trucking company. Blazovich Racing Decals. I can't thank him enough. He got our cars looking beautiful. Everybody sees this. Everybody always wonders who this is. Matthew Pohl is my cousin. That is Steven's uncle that had Down syndrome and passed away. Something 6-7 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, 7 years ago, 2014.
Yeah. Yep, 2014. That would be Steven's uncle. And then Lillian's Angels, Down syndrome awareness. That's for Steven's niece, Lily. And we have a couple other ones coming on. We're trying to get a few more. We just don't know what's going on with them yet. But if anybody wants to know, there's the big bad little motor in the 87.
The little motor that can.
Yep, the little motor that can chug.
Hey, Jacob, we appreciate you taking time out tonight and going for a ride. And we look forward to seeing you this upcoming Saturday at the track. And, you know, it's going to be a great opportunity where people can go up and see a race car. And I know you guys have no problem letting kids or people go in and out of the car and they can say they sat in a race car. So
yep, I'll have a little step stool so the kids can climb in the car on Saturday and get pictures taken.
Sounds like fun. Can't wait for this Saturday. Again, we appreciate you taking time out, Jacob. And race fans, keep an eye on Jacob Weyer. He's just a win waiting to happen. Thanks again, Jacob.
Thanks, Howie. Bye-bye.
This gentleman a little different. He's a retired driver, won multiple track championships, and one thing he'll never admit, he was the first ever feature winner down at Motordrome on the asphalt, right, Gary?
That is correct. Don't tell him the rest of the story, though.
Well, you won the feature. You won in the record books. This is Garry, I Love Dirt Racing Sisson. Garry is the president and CEO of Garry's Auto Sales up in Uniontown. That's still considered Uniontown? Dunbar, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's okay.
Dunbar. And Garry has been involved in racing probably longer than I've been alive. And once he retired driving, he kept on a tradition of Garry helps pretty much any driver from Fayette County. And he also expanded some other counties. But he tries to treat everybody equal. So you could go to the track one night and there could be 80 cars and 79.9 are going to say Garry's Auto on them at some point.
That might be an exaggeration, Howie, but there's a lot of them.
All right, 78, I apologize. But, you know, Garry, you're truly a great ambassador for racing. And you started from nothing and you made a very successful business. And you always remembered the people who are good to you, and you got to be good to them. You know, you're one of those people. Remember to be a good person on your way up, because on your way down and then on back up, those are the people you're going to see. And you use the car business to become a very successful businessman, and you promote yourself through racing. And you're more than just a sponsor. You're an ambassador of the sport. And I'm going to give an example. This past Saturday night, which was your, 21st birthday?
Yeah, you're pretty close. You
decided to come to the track, which is your second love. You love your spending time with your family, with your daughters and your son and your grandkids. But your second love, I would say, is probably racing. And you were down in the pits and you orchestrated something. And Michael Doritsky, who is probably one of the 522 cars you sponsor, came off turn number 4 and blew his motor. And that team decided they were going to swap motors. They had, in 40 minutes, which is faster than any dealership or garage could have, you and the Doritsky team swapped that motor. And I talked to Big Mike Doritsky on Sunday, and, you know, people thought, you know, Garry Sisson, very successful businessman, very classy guy. They told me if it wasn't for you, that motor wouldn't come out, because you're the only ones who could get your hand down there in 130, 40 plus degrees to get the bolts to get the motor out. And, you know, they basically said without you, that motor would probably not come out of the car.
Well, that was very nice of them to say that. And the Duritskys are good people. And that's why I love racing so much. Most of the people, or I should say all the people in racing are good people. It's just wonderful to be around them. Yeah, there's some disagreements here and there, but when something like that happens, everybody wants to pitch in and help. And the Duritskys let me dig in there, and yeah, it was a little warm, but we got the job done.
She was a tad warm getting those bolts off.
Yeah, about 100 and some degrees. It was pretty warm. I hadn't turned any wrenches on a race car for 10 years, so it felt good, actually.
And Gary, you had yourself a very successful driving career, and you won a couple of semi-late championships up at Roaring Knob. You picked up wins there. You picked up wins down at Motordrome on dirt and asphalt. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Speedway, I believe you won at. And you've been a sponsor. My God, I want to say besides yourself, one of the first cars I remember you sponsoring was Mel Minnick.
Oh, yeah. Mel is my good friend, and he was actually playing softball during the summer, and he's still mad at me over this. And I drug him out of the softball league to get a car, and he just stuck with me the whole time, and I've stuck with him. We have a great relationship. It's ongoing every day.
And that's what I mean. You're not just a sponsor, and here's your money. You sponsor almost everybody, literally in Connellsville, Uniontown, Dunbar. You'll go to the track, and if you see somebody who's struggling, you'll walk right up and be like, hey, I heard there's a tire over there for you. And, you know, you'll do whatever you can to try to keep everybody racing. And it just says so much. And I mean, you know, without people like you in the sport who's given so much, and you were a very talented driver, and just think, I'm not going to say your giving hurts you, but you probably could have been on the road, you know, had a top super late model, and you were very comfortable in the semi-lates, but, you know, you were still, even back when you were racing, it was nothing for you to go buy a tire because you said, listen, if I beat you, I want to beat you because you were at your best. And if you need a tire, let's go get you a tire.
I did do that, Howie, and honestly, you mentioned it earlier that, I mean, I've been blessed. I did start with nothing, worked my butt off all these years, went to the racetrack many, many times in my career with the worst car and the worst equipment. And if I got a little bit of help in them days, I never forgot it. It meant the world to me. One little cafe gave me $50 one time, and I painted a coffee cup on the side, and they said they could put coffee in it. I wasn't going fast enough to spill it. So that kind of stuck with me, and I'm glad to help these guys a little bit that I do. And like I said, they're just wonderful people.
And you did that. You started out with a very small car business, and now you're in a former Honda dealership that is fully stocked, and you're adding more vehicles daily. I mean, it's probably nothing for Garry's Autos to have 150, 200 vehicles for sale on a daily basis.
Well, Howie, you said a small car lot. Do you call 3 cars a small car lot? Because that's where I got started, and right now we're way over 200 cars and trucks.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to insult you.
No, I'm just messing with you. We're good. I mean, I'm proud of that. We try to do business the right way, and it's worked.
And it's not just racing. You'll give to anything in the community. You're a very giving person, and it's great to the fact that you inspire other people. And one that comes to mind is John Over. He mentioned in his ride along interview, because he's another one who gives back through his K2 engineering and his other businesses. And, you know, we were kind of talking, and he credited you, Gary. He said if it wasn't for people like Garry Sisson, who you guys are related, I believe he's married to your niece, Michelle.
He is, yes. And he is a very giving person. He's not one bit selfish, and he's in exactly the same situation. He's very successful. He deserves it, but he's not greedy, and he'd help anybody anytime. And we enjoy that. And I'm not just talking about racing. We're talking about people in the community that may need something. I mean, there's a lot of people that need help, not just racers. And John and I, my son, we all kind of get together and do what we got to do. We don't publicize that because we're not looking for anything in return. We're just happy to be there.
Gary, let's go back and talk about Garry's auto sales. How long have you been in the car business?
I actually full blast. I've been in it since 1975, and it has changed a lot, to say the least. I mean, they're delivering cars to your door now, but we still have a lot of my same customers. Even some of them I see at the races, and they'll say, "I bought a car off of it when you first started," and I can name it. I can tell them what car it was. So it's pretty good.
You know, when you buy off Garry, you're basically joining the family.
Yeah, absolutely. We treat everybody like that. Hey, these are mechanical. There's mechanical issues beyond our control, but we do our best to make things right.
And we talked about the racing, and when you walk into Garry's auto sales, it's almost like walking into a racing museum, because you never know. Sometimes you'll have a race car sitting in your showroom that could be competing at Latrobe. You know, I know I've been there, and the Hoggers have had their cars on display. Obviously, when you raced, you had your car on display, John Over. But the 145, when you were a kid, if I remember, well, I can't say if I remember right, because I think you might be a year or two older than me, Garry.
Yeah, I think so.
But when you were a youngster, you were a Mel Minnick Sr. fan. Is that correct?
Yes. Mel Minnick Sr. drove the 145, and my cousin GT owned the car. So I was at every race. I wasn't allowed in the pits, but I snuck in and I sat on the tow truck. And I got to clean Mel Sr.'s helmet for him. And I still have the helmet, by the way. And it was just, and if you notice, like when I won, how many kids come down on the racetrack? Back in the day, they didn't allow kids on the racetrack. And I got to tell you, Howie, I was up at that fence dying to see that race car driver get close to that. So when I started winning, then that's when I changed things and made sure there was kids on the racetrack.
And you know what? If it's a car that you sponsor, you're like a little kid yourself. You're all excited to get down there and get your picture taken. And you know, with these economic times, Garry, it'd be really easy to say, you know what, guys, I got to cut back. But it just seems like you're going even more and more.
Well, I got to tell you, Howie, the people that you see me on the track with, and I am blessed to be around these people. I got the best of the deal. They're good people. That they treat me good. I'm so happy. I mean, when I'm in the winner's circle or just on the track on fan appreciation night, I'm just happy to be there. I'd like to take another ride one day too. So
I was just going to bring that up, because when I was working at another track, about once a year, you get the opportunity and you get in a car. I remember you got in Troy's Wiley Crate Late model. I know you ripped some laps around in Mel Minnick Super Late.
Denny let me drive one of his cars.
Yeah.
Denny Angelique. Yeah. Yes.
When was the last time? Was it Troy's car?
No, it was Denny's car, actually.
Oh, okay.
Troy and I actually started side by side, and I said, there ain't no way he's beating me. So I jumped him on the start. I crowded him as far as I could in turn 1 and 2, and he still beat me.
I remember that. and the funny part was you were driving Troy's car.
Right. I was bound and determined I was going to beat him, but it didn't work out that way.
Are we going to get to see the opportunity to get you back behind the wheel soon?
Well, maybe for some hot laps. That's all. Yeah. These
Well,
guys have a lot of money invested, and they're really serious about their racing. So, and I respect that.
have you ever had the opportunity to whip a car around Latrobe Speedway?
Oh yeah, I had a super late I ran at Latrobe.
That's right. It was the blue car. No,
Yeah.
or was it the black one?
I think it was the blue one. Yeah.
It was the car you got off Mikey Johnson.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Okay.
I was flying down the straightaway. What I, excuse me, thought was flying. I got to the end of the straightaway, and Doug Horton took my decals off, passed me up like I was sitting still. That's a fast track.
It is,
Mm.
and it's a lot of fun. And but you made a name for yourself winning on the bigger tracks and that too. So I'm sure if it presented itself, I'm sure you could get a car around there still to this day.
I think I could. The caliber drivers that you guys got up there, that's oh my God, they're terrific. Every one of them is terrific.
What made you decide to get out of the car?
Well, to be honest with you, it was this time. My guys were getting older, and including myself. And the guy that did my engines, he was 83, and he was so meticulous. Everybody thought I had high dollar motors. I swear to you, this guy wouldn't let me spend nothing. He absolutely, he was so frugal. I told him one time, Doc, please quit thinking and start spending. He said, you go sell some cars and I'll get you in a winner's circle. And he was right.
You won a lot of races, and if I remember right, you won a championship probably in one of your last 3 years of racing.
Yeah, 05 and 06, I won the championship, and
when did you retire?
2010.
Okay.
Yeah. A caution came out with 2 laps to go, and I thought I was a big shot. I was going to win the championship, and I put it in gear, and the rear end went out sitting on the racetrack. And Troy went on to win the championship, so it was all good.
Do you miss that competitiveness, though?
I don't, and the reason I don't, all these teams and cars you see me helping, they make me feel like part of the racing. So I'm okay with that.
And that's good. And now you also get to spend time. I know family is very important to you, and you have your wife's involved with the business. Your son is involved. One of your daughters, and
yeah, I have 3 children, 3 grandchildren. My wife works there. My oldest daughter practically runs the place. She's the mean one, she says. So something happens to me, she won't sponsor anybody. I can tell you that.
Garry, we need you to live forever. Thank God you're only 21.
But I'm really blessed. I mean that. And right now we're working harder than we ever did because times have changed. It's just a different ball game. And only the strong are going to survive right now.
When you started in this, did you, in 1975, you said, did you ever think we'd be able to go on a computer and basically pick our car out?
Absolutely not. It was, to be honest with you, it was a lot simpler. I think the cars are, other than the rust issues with some of these cars, the cars are better today, but nobody can work on them. That's the problem. These young guys aren't getting involved.
Did you ever envision Garry's auto sales going as big as it did?
Not really. Howie, how I got where I am right at my location, I had always dealt with them guys out there, and I dreamed about that place. I wanted that place all my life. So they were redoing a bridge at my old location. And I called them guys up, and we couldn't get, they were crazy with numbers. It was nuts. So I went by one day, and the for sale sign was down. So I was going my way to the auction. I said, I'm going to turn around and ask them what they want for it. The guy says, we're way far apart, he said. Turns out we were 25,000 apart. So I bought it right then and there, and I was just happy to have it.
And that's the old Dunbar Honda building.
Yes. We've renovated everything. You know, older building, you have to go through it, but perfect place to work. Perfect.
First class facility. And I remember at the old facility, you could have 100 cars, but with somebody like me, Gary, I wouldn't be able to get around on the lot because I'm too big. The cars were that tight. You had to have them that tight because of the inventory you had.
Be honest with you, nobody could get around. It was miserable. We were successful, but it was miserable.
That's why you had Anita around. She was the only one who could fit into the cars. And
Right, exactly. Now she's over 6 foot, so I don't think she could do it.
well, hey, Gary, again, we appreciate all that you do. If it wasn't for guys like you, we wouldn't have racing where it's at today. And you also help out at the track when you can, and we greatly appreciate that. And for all the teams, I guess I'm kind of their spokesperson when we want to say thank you.
Well, Howie, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to you. I'm not sure that people realize what you do personally and professionally for racing. I do. I appreciate you. You acknowledge everybody. Everybody's the same. I hear you up there saying, come on up here, talk to me. That means a lot to people. So thank you for what you do.
Well, you know what? If you surround yourself with good people, it rubs off. And I've been lucky enough to be surrounded by you for the past 25, 30 years. So
It's been a while, yes.
I guess you're rubbing off on me.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
I don't know. But again, I appreciate, and like I said, every race team that you helped out. And there are a lot of teams that don't have the Gary's name on. And that's basically because you kind of also asked, you can only, when the mood strikes, I've seen you walk up and buy 10 tires, and I heard there's a rumor there's a tire up there for you guys, and
I've been
deny that you paid for them.
I have been known to do some crazy stuff, but and I got some friends in West Virginia, young, very young. I'll buy them a couple tires or something. Honestly, you can't believe how they appreciate it. So I'm happy to do it.
It was funny. One night you went to Jennerstown, and there was a car racing up there, and I know you love racing, but you're not. You love dirt racing, and
I do.
And you even offered to help them out, and that just shows the type of person you are.
Well, you and I are both blessed to be around racers. It's not a perfect world, but you don't see none of this crazy stuff going on. I mean, go through the pits, you'll see $200,000 worth of tools laying out, and nobody touches one of them. If it's not yours, you don't touch it.
No, or you ask for permission.
Or you ask. You won't even have to ask. They see you, they'll help you.
Yeah. It's your worst enemy might be your best friend on any given night.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
So, again, Gary, appreciate your time, and thank you for going for a ride.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Same to you. Race fans, that's going to conclude another episode of Ride Along. And don't forget, this upcoming week, S&B Promotion is rolling back. What I mean by that is we're taking general grandstand admission back to $10 a head. Not best show in town, $10 a head, can't beat it. Well, I also have the opportunity, I'd like to go ahead and thank our sponsors, which include Joe's Body Shop and Towing, Specialty Metals, K2 Engineering, Rock Auto, Seal Tight, Stone and Company, Vinyl Destination, DJS Swag, SMB Promotion, and for those of you looking for a job, don't forget, General Cartwright is hiring. They're offering benefits and competitive wages. For more information, check out their website. And that's going to conclude another edition of Ride Along. Don't forget, please support those who support racing, and we'll see you this week at the races.